Hello everybody, we are here with your Chaac solo guide. So we're going to be starting off with our Warrior's Axe. Warrior's Axe right now, by far the safest of all the starters for over in solo. So if you don't know what to pick the Warrior's Axe. The other one that you're going to see a whole lot of right now is actually the
best of luck.
You're going to see a lot of Mannequin's Scepter, depending on the exact god that you are against. So you do not have to get teleport in solo, but I personally am finding that teleport really is minimizing how far you can get behind in solo by letting you TP back after gank. Solo lane right now, very liable to get ganked because the jungler spends so much time on the speed side of their map because of these two harpy spawns. If they don't spend a lot of time on this side of the map, they're actually going to fall behind in XP. So that means that you get ganked quite a bit. So we're going to be starting off with our Warrior's Axe tier 1 boots, a Chalice of Healing, and a couple of multi-pots, and I'm getting my teleport. If you're not going to go teleport traditionally, then you will get a blink as you're active in solo, allowing you to either continue your kill or hopefully blink away from a gank. There's a couple different jungle starts, so for the most part you're going to follow your jungler's lead to see where they're going, but the one that we just did is one of the most common starts. It lets you get right over to the lane quickly. The clearing all the camps is actually slightly favorable for the solo laner in terms of raw XP, because if you do all the camps, you're actually going to get level 3 off of your second wave. So when this wave is full cleared, I will not hit level 3, but if we would have done that third camp, I would have hit level 3. So clearing all of the camps is really nice for your solo laner, but it can actually put your jungler a little bit behind. So I'm against a Cucullin in lane right now. Cucullin is widely considered to be the best solo laner, and mostly because he gets that transform rage level 2, which allows him to get so much lane pressure. He also typically will build mannequins, which it looks like he has built right now. Luckily, as Chaac, we have got a lot of easy sustain. So I started with my 1. This is your main form of clear, and it is the ability that you are going to max out first. Then I got my 2 at level 2, which is going to allow me to have my movement by using my 1 and 2 together in order to teleport to my axe that is placed down. And then at level 3, I'm getting my rain. This is going to help us sustain against some of this damage that Cucullin is going to be able to output. If you're having any trouble in lane with Chaac, make sure you are using your passive properly. So every time that passive gets maxed out over there at 5 stacks, you're going to be able to go ahead and cast that next ability, and it's not going to cost any mana, and it's also going to have a reduced cooldown of 2 seconds, meaning that if you use it on something like your 1, you can actually get your clear up faster, which is quite nice. So preferably use it on either your 1 for the lowered cooldown for clearing, or use it on your 3, which is your highest mana cost ability. Blue's coming back up, so I'm going to start heading over towards that. Throw down a little ward here on the totem, just to see if they're going to invade our purple.
Your left tower is under attack.
Our level order for Chaac is going to be 4, 1, 2, 3. If we're feeling confident, if we're going aggressive, if we're winning, and it'll be 4, 1, 3, 2 if you're losing or if you're not feeling confident. So you can get that extra sustain from your 3 if you need it, but for the most part, I like to get the extra damage and the extra protections on my 2 to be a bit more aggressive. Now, when Cucullin is doing these transforms over here in the lane, we really don't want to be boxing him too hard. Best case scenario is he just kind of times out. So we're going to try to keep our distance as much as we can while he's actually over there in that transformed monster form. But once he's out of that form, we can feel free to go a lot more aggressive. Now I know his jump is down, for about 10 seconds. So if I get enough damage on him, I might actually be able to ulti and try to go for the kill. But he still has quite a few health potions, so I'm not going to do that. Now, he has not grabbed an active yet. This is another thing that you can do in the solo lane. If you don't have an active, what that means is basically, hey, I'm probably going to get teleported. He's jumped in, which means I actually can probably finish this kill. No, I'm not going to be able to. He had a good counter ulti for the CC immunity. So if you're going to get teleport, you can not get an active at all. And then you can just hold on to that spot. And so when you do your first back, you can just back up and grab the teleport. Then this allows you to have options to get a different relic if you don't end up needing the teleport. For most purposes though, if you're going to get the teleport, you're going to get it 98% of the time anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. But if you are purely wanting to min-max your solo lane. Your standard combination on Chaac is just simply going to be throwing out your 1, and then throwing out your 2, which is going to teleport you towards your axe, and it's also going to give you your damage as you go through and as you spin in the circle. It's also going to be what we use for our getaways, and you get a lot of really fun outplay potential on Chaac because of this teleport. So when you're trying to get away, you've got 2 options. You're going to throw down that axe typically over a wall, and then you're gonna run in a different direction. And then as soon as you do that, you're gonna be watching your mini map to see where the enemy is running to. Because if you can probably dive this Kukulkan actually. So I'm gonna walk right at this guy, try to force him to run away. I'm gonna wait for him to hopefully use his leap. Now that his leap is down, I can use my ultimate, and I should be able to follow up with a little combination. Gonna try to use my teleport just to get a little bit out of the range, but I'm not gonna be able to run away from the Thor who was already over there. That's a good pick for the Thor. I'm gonna sell this multi-pot, grab a couple of wards so I can get out some deep wards and start invading their jungle. I'm also gonna save my point at level 8 so I can level up my 1 and my ultimate one more time when I get that level 9.
Your right tower.
For our build right now, we have got the Warrior Tabi. Your options are basically to go Warrior Tabi or Reinforced Greaves. I personally like to lean a little bit more into the damage for Chaac. It's going to help with the lane clear. Being able to clear the lane faster just means being able to run into the enemy jungle and start taking some of their buffs. A big part of the solo lane right now is trying to clear as fast as you can so you can get over there and steal those buffs and take that XP away from the jungler. Anything that you can do this season to help get the junglers behind, I promise your team will appreciate it. Junglers can get a lot of XP out of nowhere, but to be fair, so can you this season. Oh my goodness, looks like we're gonna be able to full combo that Kukulkan. So right there, I knew his jump was down, so I throw down my ultimate. I actually spend the point in my 2 in order to get the extra damage from it. Instead of saving it like I was going to, I thought I had a kill opportunity, so I throw down the point quickly into my 2. If this Thor comes in on me, I am not afraid at all. If you're by yourself in the solo lane, you can put pressure on that jungler. There is nothing that they can do about you right now. What you have to be careful about is that 2v1. But with the solo laner already dead, I'm free to just walk into his jungle and take some farm. So I'm going to throw down a deep ward at their back harpies and also on their blue buff. This is going to help my team notice where the jungler is, and that's also going to give me those nice respawn timers so I can quickly go over and take their experience. So for the first item that I'm going into, I am against a physical solo laner, and I am against a physical jungler. This is pretty standard right now, what you're going to be going against. So I'm going to take myself immediately into a Gladiator Shield. Gladiator Shield, just as good as you remember. And you're going to get that bonus damage for building tanky. And let me tell you, you're going to get actually pretty dang tanky over in this solo lane. So that's going to be our very first item. It's also going to give us a little bit of CDR. Commander Blue buff will have 20% CDR right off the bat. Some people right now are still going full defensive builds over in solo. So like a Stone of Gaia as their first item. I actually think you should be going a little bit more hybrid aggressive over in the solo lane. Full tank builds are not necessarily as good as they once were. We're in a little bit more of a damage meta. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no hope for you in the solo lane, so I don't want you to panic. But I would go just a little bit more damage oriented than you maybe did in that last season. Really on ability based solo laners like a Chaac. Try to focus on getting that CDR online and getting that bonus damage through your gladiator shield. And later on we will rank up this warrior's axe into a sundering axe, which is also going to give us another nice form of bonus damage while still making us tanky. I can see Cullen's running over to his blue buff. This is a little risky of me to kind of walk over here, but I am going to put some pressure on it. Even if I can't get that, I am going to be able to run over into his jungle and just start taking this stuff. I want to hit level 12. I'm trying to save my back until I get level 12, because then I can teleport right back in. And you can see the pressure that I've got in this lane. And I've already got a 3-level lead because of the consistency of going into the enemy jungler and taking their stuff. So now I'm going to grab myself a gladiator shield. I'm also going to get me a Thorns, and I'm going to start working right on a Pridman. Also going to grab 2 more wards to make sure I can refresh those wards as soon as they run out deep into their jungle. Pridman and Chaac just work so well together. I also just like Pridman in general this season still. Gives you that little bit of shield. Remember, it also comes with a slow and some damage on it. So just another item that you're actually getting damage from while still building mostly tanky. Also, the more CDR we have, the better, because we're getting that bonus damage off of the gladiator shield on our abilities. So we want to be able to cast them as much as we can. At this point, I'm really not worried about any poke damage because my Chalice of Healing and my 3 are going to be able to completely sustain me. So I can do things like walk right through this tower and go for the proxy farm. He's trying to stop my proxy, but there's really nothing that he can do about this. And then I'm going to be able to once again go right over into his jungle and start taking some jungle away from their Thor. This should be your constant play over in the solo lane right now. Always, always, always running into their jungle. Keep those wards down. You're going to be able to proxy. Easy peasy. Now, he wants to come back and contest me, but I've got a 2-level lead, and so I'm not really worried about him at all right now. But I am going to focus on clearing the wave first. I see that my Circuit is actually dead right now, which means that our jungle farm over here is just going to waste. So I'm going to quickly rotate over and grab some of this jungle. You can see that our mid laner is also doing the same thing. These Harpy camps spawn so fast that if your jungler's on the other side of the map, if somebody's dead and waiting on a respawn, you can grab that kind of stuff really quick to maximize your team's XP. Now, it looks like their blue buff is in fact up. So I actually do want to try to go steal that from him. So I'm going to clear that wave. Then I'm going to head over to blue. And I'm going to save my ultimate.
Your middle tower.
And I'm actually feeling pretty good about this 2v1 opportunity. I already got Thor down to half HP. Going to make sure I've got these chalices popping. I hear a Morrigan in stealth. So I'm going to try to keep my distance from her. All right. Going to pop down my heal. I'm going to throw down a 1. I'm going to start running this way. Thor is in the air on the Morrigan. So I'm going to pop my 2 to come back here to juke one of them. And I should be able to get away. So that's kind of how you're looking to use the Chaac getaway skill, is that you throw it down in one direction, then you run in the other way, and then you just pay attention to the mini-map, you pay attention to your sound effects. Okay, where are people running to? Where are they going? I see that Morrigan had turned into a Thor and she was going to ulti on me, so I teleported back to my axe. That way I can just get right on out of there. Another note that we should make in general about solo lane right now, if you are going to grab the teleport, in general, you are trying your best to not back until that teleport is actually up. Once your teleport comes back up, you can teleport back in and maximize your XP and gold efficiency. So as much as I want to back right now, I'm actually going to do hashtag one more wave. And then I am going to back up. I see that the Cullen is over by the Gold Fury. If my Circuit throws me down a ward, I could teleport over there. She doesn't have a ward. So I'm actually just going to grab that. That tower is going to go down. It's going to be fine. I'm going to rank up my Thorns, and I'm going to start grabbing a couple more wards. I'm actually going to teleport over to the mid lane right now to make sure that they don't grab this mid lane or our red buff. Because I don't need any more pressure over in the solo lane. So let's make sure they don't get any more of our stuff after they've gotten this gold fury. Not going to steal my mid laner's wave. I want to make sure they get this XP. But I am going to kind of chill around here for him to walk up. So that way I can get credit for it too. On my way rotating back over to their jungle. For our matchups in lane, Chaac doesn't really have any horrible matchups. He's kind of the I don't know what to pick of solo laners, you know? You kind of just chill. Holy, I'm making some friends. I'm popping my thorns, and I'm actually fighting into this. I'm just going to keep running right at them. They're going to use so much here, but I am very tanky. I'm going to have so many shields and heals, all sorts of stuff. And you can see why I like Chaac so much and why we spend so much time focusing on levels. That bonus XP that we have really lets us soak up so much damage. We've got the physical defenses for against that combination Thor and Kakalin. Plus, they've got a Morrigan who is mostly going to be turning into a physical character. So our physical defenses are compounding in how useful they are. In fact, they're so useful this game that for my next item where I would normally get something probably with a little bit more magical defense, I'm actually just going to grab myself a Void Shield and get even more physical defenses. So if you don't know what to pick over in solo, I really do think that Chaac is a great option. His clear is pretty straightforward. He's actually got a fairly easy kit, lots of big circles. So if you get thrown into the solo lane, maybe you're in ranked and you don't really know what to do. Maybe it's just a role that you're not super confident in. I actually think that it is just a generically good god to be playing because he doesn't get crushed by anything. Worst case scenario, you can just kind of sit there and clear the wave pretty safely from under tower and try to at least go even in the lane if you're not confident enough to be going for invades and stuff like that.
Enemy ultimate incoming.
If you are going to want to pick Chaac, though, let's say you're not trying to passively pick Chaac, you're trying to actively pick Chaac. I really like Chaac against heavy compositions with no real movement abilities. That way they can just be kind of stuck in your ultimate. Nobody wants to have to beads a Chaac silence, but it is a pretty dead giveaway when you're using Chaac-ul, so it's pretty easy to just jump out of. So people that actually have movement abilities tend to not struggle with it too much, but somebody like a Morrigan, her really only option is to just kind of sit there and like use her active, just like I'm doing right now. You can see I can just kind of W key at him, and there's not a whole bunch that he can do. That's what I really like Chaac into. So for actively picking Chaac, we're looking for characters like a Morrigan, even like as much as like a Vulcan with the backfire, which doesn't really have enough movement on it to get you away from Chaac. Those types of gods really tend to struggle against him because you get the slow on them with your 3. Plus, you get the ulti with the silence, which lasts so long. I do believe it's 3 seconds. Yeah, that's a 3-second silence. Another thing you should keep in mind in Chaac is you can double stack your slow. So your 3, not only is it a heal, it's also a slow, but it pops up around your axe as well. This means that if you throw it out, you can actually block off a direction with a slow while you're chasing somebody. Like if maybe I'm worried that somebody's gonna try to run away that way, and then maybe gonna try to juke me, well, you can block off either multiple areas with that slow, because it's gonna form around you and around your axe, or you can double down and stand inside your axe area while you do it, and you're gonna get 2 times the slow action. Once again, you can see all game, I'm basically spending my time in their jungle as if it were my jungle. The reason why you're focused so much on farm in Season 8 is because you want to rank up your starter item ASAP, because they are the best items in the game. So right now, I can actually get my starter item ranked up, and I will really hit a large power spike here. So I know it's going to be 1,500 gold in order to rank it up. So what I would like to do is have 2,000 gold. So not only can I rank up my starter item, I can also get myself a ranked up teleport, so I can start using teleport to get around the map. I'm gonna throw down a little lane ward and a deep ward to give myself some teleport locations over in the right side. But what I'd really like to do is start walking over and do a gold fury call. So I'm gonna get my sundering axe, I'm gonna rank up my teleport, and I'm also gonna start buying sentry wards now that I'm rotating around the map and more focused on objectives than I am necessarily my lane. So at this point, I've got a 5-level lead on the Cucullin. It is my job to run around and start forcing objectives and being frontline for my team. As a solo laner, for the most part, you are just going to be responsible for diving the backline. Every once in a while, depending on what you're playing, especially if you end up rocking a Guardian solo, maybe you're playing an Ardio or a Ymir, sometimes you end up being kind of responsible for peeling. But on a Chaac, you're not responsible for peeling at all. Your job is to do damage. But if everybody's diving your backline, then you kind of end up peeling anyway. So I'm just gonna run at this Apollo, and I'm gonna ult him. I'm gonna make sure I got a Chalice, pop my Thorn, throw down the heals. And I'm just gonna keep chasing right now on this Apollo, because he really has no way to get away from me. A second that his dash was down, he was stuck and just had to sit in all of my abilities. I'm going to chase this Cucullin right now, who is actually getting a decent amount of heals. I'm going to wait to throw my axe until after he jumps, which he did. And now that he's stuck in my heal, I should be able to grab this kill as well. Not going to be able to do the gold fury anymore, but we might be able to get a tier 2 tower in the mid lane. It's going to W key right at this Sylvanas. You can see that big bonus damage proc that I just got. That is from that Sundering Axe. That is 10% of current health on your attack, and it can proc every 7 seconds. That gives you a lot of damage, particularly on tanks in the late game. Another reason why we like that CDR so much. Now we can go right back over to Gold Fury. I'm going to see if this red buff is up long enough for me to grab it. It's not going to. Our Izanami has respawned. We've got most of our team out. So Cat's going to go steal some of their buffs on right side. Now this call is actually a little bit risky. If their team was feeling pretty cheeky, they could actually try to rush the fire giant the second that they hear us over here at the Gold Fury, the second that it dies, but I don't think that they will. And I've also got some wards set up on that side of the map from earlier, so I can see if they're going that way. That was almost a really cheeky Gold Fury steal. Wow. That was close. That was a good play from Thor, actually. All right, now we're going to get the Void Shield. After my Void Shield, I am eventually going to get some magical defenses online. I see that they have a little bit of healing, not that I'm concerned about. Let's take a look at their build. Do they have a lot of anti-heal? They do not have a lot of anti-heal. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get myself into a CAD shield. CAD shield is going to give us a little bit of magical defenses. So I have a little bit of magical defense from this, plus we have a little bit from our Pridwen, plus we have a little bit from our Sundering Axe. So even though we're not building a specific magical defense item, I'm actually still going to end up with nearly like 150 protections, not including the bonus up to 100 magical protections that we can get from our 2. So we're really going to be quite tanky magical-wise, even though we're almost building no strict magical defense item. That CAD shield is going to up the healing that we get from our 3 by a significant amount. Keep in mind that we also drain life with our Sundering Axe, and that CAD shield is going to help the health that we are draining. CAD shield buffs all forms of heal. I see a Morgan in the mid lane that I need to be W keying at. I figured he was gonna pop his ultimate. I'm gonna pop a Thorns right in this ulti. So the second that he pops it, he's gonna take so much damage. And now my job is to go for Apollo. Apollo is dead. I'm just diving into the backline using my 2 to get a little bit closer to this Cucullin. We're gonna be able to bring him down as well. Kind of waiting for the Thor to hammer, but it doesn't matter, he's gonna be dead. Now, while we could go do the Fire Giant right now, we've got 40-second death timers. After about the 20-minute marker, death timers are gonna be anywhere from like 35 to 50 seconds. So if you get a team wipe like this, you can basically always get a Phoenix. Now, we probably can't end the game, although it's close, 20 seconds. You know what? I think we should try. No, we should. Never mind. We should go Fire Giant. Did we have potential to end the game right here? Yes. I'd put our odds pretty close to 50-50-ish. But we are actually winning the game right now. We've got a 10K lead. So if we were losing the game pretty consistently up to that point, I would take that 50-50 on the Titan. But because we've been basically winning the entire time, I don't think we have to risk the 50-50. I would rather go for the safer play and grab ourselves this fire giant. Now, we do need to be careful for the Apollo and Thor ulti potential, but we have a Was ulti, which is basically the best objective secure in the game, although it was early, so I'm glad that I used my Chaac ult. But if they contest this too hard and they all die here, we actually could go right down and end the game because we already have the Phoenix pushed down. We knew that Thor ulti was coming. We got to be careful. That is Apollo dash in the backline. I'm quickly going to be reverting onto him. It may look like I'm peeling, but I'm actually just trying to kill the highest damaging characters. So I'm going to throw my axe over this way. I'm going to start running over here. And then I'm going to use my 2 to try to go get to it. And you can see that they basically have to choose between
on my way,
running at me or running in the direction they think that I'm going to go. So I don't have to quite back yet. I got my Thorns back up. That's a 1 HP Thor. I got my ulti coming up in 1 second, and we're going to be able to keep this fight going, baby. And that is just the beauty of Chaac. I can teleport back in, so I'm going to back up. I'm going to get my CAD shield. I'm going to start teleporting into the deepest ward that I can, and I'm going to buy a potion of power while I'm teleporting in. Once again, probably not going to be able to end the game, but we should be able to potentially get this right Phoenix off of it. So because of my because of my Sundering Axe, you can see that sustain that you still have. So I was kind of staying on the fringes of the fight, throwing in an axe, getting a little bit of sustain, a little bit of damage, and also using my 3 to continuously heal. Just because you get poked out as a solo laner doesn't mean you're completely out of the fight. Now I'm going to throw my axe deep right now because I think the Apollo's going to go that way, and he did. So that way I was closer to being in range to him. I see that he has used his beads, his Aegis. That is a win. And we can actually retreat out of this. I'm going to sit here and keep this door open for my team so that they can walk out if they need it. They're not going to. They're going to go through that way. That is totally fine. We've got 2 minutes with the fire giant, so we can walk right up to this tower and just start beating on it. I'm going to have plenty of healing. Our mid laner is grabbing up the wave, which is perfect, and it is now my job to kind of get all up in here. I know that Apollo's beads and Aegises are down, so he is my main target, so I'm actually going to just dash right in on him. I'm going to use my ultimate, and I'm just going to go right to aggressive land on Apollo, waiting for him to dash. He's not going to dash. He's actually going to ult. Yeah, that is fine. I can reset this Phoenix, and we should be able to grab it. Looks like our backline is actually having a hard time. Apollo went in on that. So now I'm looking for the Apollo in the back line. I'm going to axe over the wall, and I am going to be able to get him through that. And I'm going to wait for the Morgan to use her stun. Then I'm going to pop back on my axe, and we're going to be able to grab another kill. They've got to worry about the creeps in the mid lane and the right lane. So I actually can continue to aggress on this, popping my Thorns here a little bit late. I know that Thor's hammer is down because he just used it. It's going to be coming up very soon, though. I'm going to try to slow him down, but it's about to come up right now. So I'm not going to be able to finish the kill, but we should be able to start this fight on the Titan. I got my ultimate up in 1 second, which will give me that Pridman proc. So I'm going to ulti right on top of the Q and the Thor. Switch my target to the Thor. Try to grab the kill before he can get out. Not going to be able to get it, but we are going to be able to end the game, guys. And that is exactly what you are looking to do in the solo lane. You farm, farm, farm. The #1 most important thing for the first 15 minutes of the game is get your XP going, because you can and will get a multi-level lead in the solo lane right now. ADCs, jungles, and solos all have really the opportunity this season to get as high as a 5-level lead, and this happens at the highest levels of rank. So focus on your farming so you don't get behind a ton. Honestly, don't worry about if you would have sold boots and got a 6th item. You're basically never going to sell your boots to get a 6th item. So you should be prioritizing your build around what's going to have boots in it still, guys. And that is your Chaac solo guide.